told you the dream country that you're looking for already exists. A place where Blackness is the standard, the language is easy, and the food heals you from the inside out. That country is Tanzania, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, welcome to the live. I want you to let me know where you're joining from. Let me know in the comments where you're joining from, because many of you are looking for the best country for yourself and your family. And there isn't a perfect country, but on this live, I'm going to tell you why the best country for African Americans is Tanzania. All right. Welcome everyone to the live. If you're new to the feed, I'm Ashley on this channel, Ashley in Africa. I help people diversify their real estate and financial investments the way smart money does, strategically, legally, and with boots on the ground support, moving the way smart money does, right? Not the way that fear, lack, and just like curiosity does, all right? Welcome. Hi, Jasmine from Florida. Welcome, Mrs. Cabs from Atlanta. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, let me know where you're joining from DC, the Supermodel Society. Hi, Jamara. Welcome. Okay, so what if the place that you've been praying for already exists? Okay, Blackness is the standard, year-round tropical weather, the food heals you. Society values you and your family. You can see the way femininity is done, masculinity is done, the family dynamic is done. You get to see that, and it heals you from the inside out. For me, that was Tanzania, and I'm going to go through why Tanzania, I believe, is the best place for African Americans to relocate, especially now. All right, welcome, W. Bennett. Be sure to ask your question in the form of a question later on when I start taking questions, and I'm happy to talk about farmland buying, okay? Because as we all know, the future is in agriculture and agro-processing, and so you can absolutely do that. Tanzania is has some of the richest soil in the world, all right? Some of the richest farmland in the world. All right, so number one, Tanzania is a Black homogeneous nation. What does that mean? You are not an anomaly. You are in the majority as a Black person. So I've got my notes over here, and I'm reading off some data and some statistics, so you guys have access to that in this live, okay? So you don't have to just take my word for it, right? You get to hear the facts. So in Tanzania, you're not the only one. You're not the minority as a Black person in Tanzania. You are the norm. All right. 99% of Tanzanians are Black Africans. There is power in walking streets, entering businesses, attending schools, enjoying yourself at a restaurant. There is power in seeing yourself everywhere. All right. How many of you know there's power in seeing yourself everywhere? Type power in the chat. Type power in the chat when you know that there is power in seeing yourself everywhere. What that does to you. What that does to you when you're leaving a country where you're constantly feeling underrepresented, underprivileged, underprioritized, right? When you get to walk into every room and see a rendition of yourself, it gives you a sense of power and knowing and confidence. It's why I believe when Africans come to America, they're confident. They're not worried about whether or not people like them. They're not worried about whether or not they fit in, or, because they already know where they're from and they know they represent the global majority. And as an African American, you're constantly told that you're not in the majority. You're minor. You're minimal against the global majority. All right. And so that's something that you don't have to experience in Tanzania. How many of you are tired of being the only Black person in a room? Type me. Type me in the chat. I know that was one of the main pushing points. It wasn't one of the main reasons I moved from America, but it was one of the leading causes of my anxiety, was being the only Black woman in so many rooms that I was in, whether that was the tech startup that I worked at, whether it was in leadership at the, career I had before that. And I lived in Atlanta. I lived in the Black Mecca, right? The so-called Black Mecca, but I was still in rooms that were only, where I was one of only. If you're tired of being the only Black person in a room, type me in the chat. All right. So the number two, right? So number one is a Black homogeneous nation. Tanzania is a Black homogeneous nation. Number two, it's easy to learn the language. So while English is not the main language, Swahili is the main language. Swahili is the number one African language spoken on the continent. It is the number one spoken language in Africa, Swahili. And it's one of the easiest African languages to learn. I know, I also live in South Africa, and these languages are not easy to learn. Swahili is essentially, it looks the way, it sounds the way it looks. So phonetically, it is easier to learn than many languages. And for people that are studying Spanish, and when you are studying Spanish or speaking Spanish, the way you read Spanish is the way it sounds. And it doesn't even have like the N, with the squiggly line, right? It is very easy in comparison to some of the other African languages. Plus, Tanzanians are gracious teachers. When you're speaking Swahili, there's a saying, I can't remember it in Swahili, but they always say, be free, be free. Be free when you're speaking Kiswahili, because the effort alone is enough, right? The effort alone and you attempting to speak their language is enough for you to learn and for you to be a Tanzanian speaker. It's a place where language connects you. It doesn't alienate you. And in many places, you're going to find English speakers in cities like Dar es Salaam, in cities like Zanzibar, right? In cities like Dodoma, even in Arusha, you're going to find English speakers that will help you to translate, right? And help you along the way. So it is a language that will help you reconnect you to the people, but not alienate you, right? People won't make you feel bad because you don't know it. They'll be happy and honored that you're even willing to try the language. All right. This one, number 3, this one is powerful. You will have access to foods that heal you, not harm you. You will have access to foods that heal you, not harm you, okay? The West feeds you poison upon convenience. I just saw the clip of the president speaking about all of the data around children ailments, chronic illnesses, and how they are peeling back certain policy, allowing certain foods to exist. I have personally seen people move to Tanzania and be healed of chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, diabetes, just by living in that area and eating fresh fruits and vegetables. In Tanzania, you have access daily to foods that heal those chronic illnesses caused by the Western diet. So the fresh vegetables, the fresh fruits, the fish, fresh fish, fresh produce. Literally, you cannot walk out of your doorstep for more than 10 minutes without seeing a fruit or vegetable stand. All right. Organic meats, natural herbs, literally some of the best healing herbs, moringa, neem, all grow literally on the streets, and you can have access to those herbs at your doorstep, literally for free because of the environment. I've seen nonverbal children go from nonverbal to verbal, moving from Western countries and living in Tanzania. I've seen it literally with my own eyes. All right. And so you'll get access to foods that heal you, not foods that will harm you. Now, they are starting to introduce some of these processed foods. We are starting to see more chips and more fast food restaurants come into play, but it is not the norm. People aren't as interested in the KFCs of the world when they can still go get their, kuku, like their chicken, right? From across the street. There's a place that I go to in Tanzania, literally right across the street from KFC, but their business didn't take a hit. Okay, people are still eating that natural grilled chicken with lemon, salt, and pepper, not getting all them preservatives and all of that stuff from the chicken across the street. Now, I'm sure some people go and enjoy that, but for the most part, your access to foods that heal you are readily available everywhere you go. Visionary Square says no food deserts. Exactly. So if you're ready to eat, to live, not eat to die, okay? Drop a watermelon emoji for me in the chat. All right, because the watermelon year round, the seeded vegetables. There's seeds in everything. Seeds in the machungwa, which is oranges, the machenza, which are mandarins, in the zabibu, which are grapes, the tikiti maji, which are watermelon. What else? Mango, of course. Embe seeds, of course. Even the avocado seeds, they make oils with the mango seeds. Yes, Jasmine. I mean, everything has seeds. Everything. To have no seeds, imagine, guys. Imagine eating fruits with no seeds. How do you know it's a living thing if it doesn't have the seeds that it's supposed to give to the earth? Like, they've conditioned us so well to consume fake foods. Imagine a fruit without a seed. That is unimaginable. And people are consuming these and wondering why the obesity rates are so high, the blood pressure rates are so high, the cancer rates are so high, the diabetic rates are so high. Consuming foods that are not healing, that are not real. Right? So you get access to the foods that will heal you, not harm you. All right. Number 4, a thriving Black expat community. I was just in Zanzibar, Tanzania, celebrating Juneteenth at a friend's restaurant who is also a Black American. Sorry, I'm moving this. There is a thriving Black expat community in Tanzania, whether you're in Arusha, whether you're in Dar es Salaam, whether you're in Zanzibar. And even if you don't even, you want to pop in and out of those spaces to get access to your community, you can do that if you want to live in a more rural space, right? So access to a community of Black expats exists in Tanzania. All right. And so it's home to a growing Black expat community, mothers, wives, entrepreneurs, creatives. There's already a village for you to tap into. Doctors, attorneys, accountants, teachers, therapists, all of this. People that understand your journey, your fears, and your dreams because they've lived them too. They're doing it together. That Juneteenth celebration was a beautiful experience. There were teenagers there, wives, husbands, mothers, grandmothers, aunties, uncles, dads, all of that stuff that were there enjoying themselves, having barbecue and listening to R&B. And it was a great time. And people were sharing their experience of their journey, their businesses that they're building, the way that they're bringing in families, generations of other people coming over, right? And it's a great place to tap into a community of people that are doing the thing that you are doing, that also understand your journey. All right? You won't be alone. All right, you won't be alone. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We have the diaspora. We have an expat roundtable of Black expats currently living in Tanzania during our Travel, Move, Do Business Tanzania Online Conference. There will be 4 diaspora families, right? 4 people, actually 4 families, and then we got some singles in there that are going to share their journey. So you can also hear from them what their stories are like. So you want to join us at that conference. You want to hear people that have done it too. Type Tanzania in the comments, right? You'll get that link sent directly to you. I think we've only got about 9 tickets left for the online conference. You absolutely want to join us this weekend. It's the 19th and the 20th. Don't worry about it. If you can't make it live, you'll get access to the replays, and then you'll get contact information of how you can connect and work with some of the expats, some of the other people that have made the move. Okay, so you'll get access to that. Rashid, the realtor, says, I recently moved from Uganda to Uganda from New York. Best decision ever. I know that's right. I already know. Karibu. All right, so next thing, number 5. So 1 through 4. Number 1, a Black homogeneous nation. Blackness is everywhere. You are not the minority in Tanzania. You are not an anomaly. You are the main character. Imagine, it's beautiful. Number 2, it's easy to learn Swahili, the national language, and people want to teach you, right? Number 3, access to foods that heal you, not harm you. This is probably one of the most important things and benefits of living in Tanzania as an African American. And then number 4, access to a thriving Black expat community so you won't be alone. All right, so let's jump into number 5, tropical coastal living year round in some cities, right? So Zanzibar, of course, that's island life. Dar es Salaam is also coastal, but you can get those seasons if you go inland, right, to Arusha, even Dodoma. You can get access to cooler temperatures, right? If you're interested in that, greenery in the mountainous regions of Moshi, Marangu, even Bukoba, right? These are areas that you can also experience more of a rural quality of life, which are beautiful, right? But if you want those tropical vibes and sunshine year round, Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam is definitely where it's at. If you're tired of the cold, the gloom, the grind in the winters of shoveling snow and all that nonsense, coastal islands like Zanzibar, your nervous system is guaranteed to reset. You'll remember what joy, sunshine, year-round beach, like living like your life is a holiday. I know some people, when I'm in Dar es Salaam, they're like, it looks like your life is a holiday. For 2 years, it felt like that. I was on a holiday. Now, was it perfect? Is every day like a vacation? Not necessarily, but close to it. Close to it. Nikita Gabby says, I want to leave the U.S. so badly, but because I've always worked for someone else, I worry because I am not an entrepreneur. Well, you obviously, Nikita, you have a skill set that has made you employable. So now the goal is to take your skill set and empower yourself to be able to earn an income. Empower yourself. Consult with your employer, right? One of the folks that I work with left a career that they had been doing for about 15 years, ended up getting hired by their former employer as a consultant, making more money, right? Fear, worry, we don't do that. Worry, fear, doubt, no, we take what we know and empower ourselves. Don't lean into the fear, it's not real. Don't lean into the worry, it's not real. Right? If you're going to tell yourself a story that hasn't happened yet, at least tell yourself a story that feels good. Right? Can I get a ashe? Can I get an ashe? All right, Nikita. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that vulnerably. That's with love. Okay? Number 6, residency made easy. No tricks, no games. The residency options in Tanzania are very straightforward. You can get residency while you're in their country as well. So you can go ahead, pack yourself up, get your things once you know you're ready to relocate. And while you're in the country, you can apply for residency, especially as an entrepreneur or a business owner, right? Or even if you say, you know what, I want to study something. I want to go to the university to learn something that is going to help me acclimate to this new environment. Whether I want to, and whatever that is, accounting, geology, history, sociology, civics, right? To understand something about the new country that you're living in, you can enroll in a university and get access to a student residency. Now, terms and conditions do apply, and this is not immigration advice, but you'll hear from my personal attorney at the Travel, Move, Do Business Tanzania Conference, and she'll be able to talk to you about the different residency options that you can apply for while in the country of Tanzania. All right, so all of that stuff can be done while you're in country, no hoops, jumping through, all of this stuff, and no. That doesn't exist, especially as an American. As Americans, you currently have a privilege that you don't understand quite much because you're still in America. But that American passport, that American citizenship gives you so many benefits once you exit the country of America for now. For now, these things are actively changing, right? But you'll get all of this advice and insight from April Ernest of Novus Law Group, my personal attorney at the Travel, Move, Do Business Tanzania Online Conference. Okay, so go ahead and comment Tanzania in the comments so that you can get access to that link and join us and get your seat, secure your seat before tickets sell out. All right, so number 7, a developing economy with low barrier to entry. All right, Tanzania is growing. It's growing between real estate, tourism, agro-processing, tech, right? The barriers to entry to start a business or invest are still low, but that won't last forever. It will not last forever. It's one of the reasons why I'm personally diversified in not just South Africa, but also in Tanzania, because it's developing and there's a lot more opportunity that exists in Tanzania. While there is, there are challenges that exist, like understanding the laws and how you can do things as a foreigner, having a level of Kiswahili fluency in your repertoire so you can properly engage with decision makers and stakeholders. But essentially, the barrier to entry in Tanzania for now is still low. So you can take your currency coming from the West, your US dollar, and it will get you so much more in return in Tanzania, in some of these emerging markets, as I shared, like agro-processing, which when I say emerging, like they're $billion industries, but because of the population of not only Tanzania, but the surrounding region, the market cap is so high, but the entry position is still available, right? And so open for the most part for people with capital, with skill, and with access, right? And so you're going to get that access at the Travel, Move, Do Business Online Conference. You're just going to have to bring your skill set and your capital to be able to enter into the market with a little bit more ease. Okay. So because of that, the developing economy perspective, the barriers to entry aren't as high. Hi, Anissa. Welcome. This one is also huge. Number 8, healing masculinity and femininity. The blueprint of balance. African American women and men have been in a really tough position over the last few decades in America, between the Reagan administration, the war on drugs, the war on the black man, the masculinity of black women, being single mothers and all of this, right? Hi, my sis. there is so much imbalance in the Black community in America. So much imbalance. This gender war is ridiculous. The war on family structure is just unnecessary. And we need a reset immediately, or we are doing ourselves a huge, unfixable, unrepairable, we're doing ourselves irreparable damage. Irreparable, unrepairable. Y'all feel me, right? We're doing ourselves damage in the West, in these societies that have us so at odds. In Tanzania, one of the most beautiful experiences that I had was remembering my true feminine power, getting to witness the power of femininity, the power of silence, the power of submission, the power of family, the power of women, the power of modesty, right? The power of family, the power of children. And this balance is so necessary for us as a Black melanated global population, but specifically in the US, because between our music, the media, the television, the Netflix shows, the movies, we are at odds. We are so imbalanced, and we need it. We need a reset. We need a rebalancing. And Tanzania, you literally cannot unsee it. And there's so much to be learned just by being in the presence of families. I got to attend a 40th wedding anniversary like last month when I was in Tanzania. And hi, baby. I got to experience a 40th wedding anniversary, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful celebration. The husband stood up and he gave a speech, and he talked about the ups and downs that he and his wife absolutely had over their 40 years of marriage. But then he started to call up his children. Then he called up his children's spouses. Then he called up his children's children and their spouses and their children. And by the end of that speech, there were a total of maybe 70 people up there. Children, cousins, brothers, 70 human beings were standing up there. And what he said was, through these ups and downs, this is the fruit of legacy that we've experienced. Without those ups and downs, I would have never been able to create this type of legacy. And it was so moving. I'm going to share that video. I took a video on my YouTube channel. And it was powerful because while we're doing all this bickering between sexes, and listen, I'm not going to say it's the men or the women. That's not what we're here for today. What is happening is that we are individualizing ourselves as people, as women, as men, attempting to say we don't need each other when we really need healing. And we need to see a rebalance in what it means to be Black families, to be Black mothers, to be Black fathers, to be Black children, to be wives and husbands, and what it means to do that, to really create the legacy that we're meant to leave here before, it's too late. And that's what they don't want happening to us in the US. And it's been happening. This is something that's very clear for years and years, decades, right? But when we know something and don't do better, we're contributing and choosing the problem as well. So by staying in the environment that you know is trying to destroy you, you're choosing that environment. And that's why I say Tanzania is one of the best places for African Americans to relocate to. All right. So we're seeing that feminine and masculine coexist in power with respect and honor. Respect and honor. You call a man you've never met your brother. You call a woman you've never met your sister. There is no language, there is no word in Swahili for the term cousin. There is no word for the term auntie, right? Or uncle. It's big mother, big father, little father. Sister, brother, mother, father, right? That's it. No word for grandmother. Like, it's mother, father, sister, brother. You're all connected. And that is the balance we need to return to as African Americans. That's healing. That's healing. That is the healing that we need as a community in the African American community. And that's why I say Tanzania is the place to do that. Rewiring that partnership with balance in our community is so much of what we need. All right. How many of you felt that? If you felt that, give me a red heart. Give me some hearts in the chat. Give me some hearts in the chat. I want to see and understand how you're feeling. Are you receiving this? Is this valuable content? It's valuable information that you're getting from this live today. If you're ready to feel safe and feel seen as a Black woman, as a Black man, as a Black mother, as a Black father, type heal in the chat, right? Or if you're ready to be seen as a Black man, as a Black woman, if you're ready to be seen, respected, feel safe, type heal in the chat. All right. Miss LA Fitness says, I joined the live on Sunday and I'm back today. Oh, wonderful. I'm so happy. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you for that. Thank you, LA from New York. Yes, heal. If you're ready to feel safe as a Black man, as a Black woman, as a mother, as a father, type heal in the chat. That is what we need. That is what we get to see in the Black community in Tanzania. So, for me, Tanzania, it wasn't just a move. It was literally a return to myself. It was a return to myself, the self that was naturally birthed into this world, not the self that was nurtured into the strong Black independent woman, who had to solve everybody's problems, self-abandon herself, mute herself in white spaces, attending privately, predominantly white institutions. It was a chance to be a better woman. It was a space to be a better parent, a space to return to the creativity that is innately African. Right? So when we talk about not being entrepreneurs and, everyone isn't entrepreneurial, if you have an ounce of melanin in your blood, you are a creator. You were placed on this earth to create. So you are an entrepreneur because our ancestors were creators and are creators and problem solvers. We always led the pack when it came to solutions and, creating societies and kingdoms and civilizations. We were the originators of that. And so we've been nurtured into working for and creating other people's dreams to be bigger. But our nature is to be the creators and the problem solvers for ourselves and for our communities. All right. And that land, that Tanzanian land, healed my body. It healed my spirit. It healed my lineage. And ultimately, it's healing my community. Because of what I was able to experience and learn and see and remember, I was able to share that information with now over millions of people globally to help them return to the continent, to help them return to their homelands, or to return to the place that makes them feel the best, makes them feel good. And if you also want to learn what that could look like for you, yourself, and your family, I would love for you to join us this weekend online for the Travel, Move, Do Business Online Conference for Tanzania. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make the time, don't worry about it. You'll get access to the replays. But the value of attending is you get to hear the mouths of other people that have done it and experts that want to see you win. Building businesses in agriculture, tourism, real estate, hospitality, and then the attorneys and the advisors that are going to help you have the same level of success that you need to sustain your life. You're going to hear from families, right? You have one of our speakers here in the chat. You're going to hear from families that are raising their families abroad now, having children, expanding their families in Africa, getting access to great medical care, having home births, getting access to the foods and the help that you need to build a thriving community and family, right? The community, the village that they took away, right, and forced us to pay for is available to us now in the communities that we are returning to. Thank you, big brother, right? So this is the type of information that we need to return to the people that we were brought into this world to be, right? We need access to the information and action, right? So information is something everybody has now. We are living in a time where we have more information than ever, but for some reason, we're not taking action. And I think it's because we're not seeing people do the thing that we're hearing people talk a lot about it, but we're not seeing people do the thing because the people doing the things are busy doing the things, not talking about it, right? But we're working really hard to bring this event to you this weekend so that you get to see the people doing the thing and you get to work with them to support you so that you can also achieve that same goal for yourself and your family. So go ahead, if you're here on the live, type Tanzania in the comments to join us this weekend. And then if you're on the replay, for sure, go ahead and type Tanzania to get the link sent directly to you. If this conversation is stirring something in you and it's got you excited and it's got you curious, that's your sign. Join us this weekend for the Travel, Move, Do Business Online Conference. All right. You're going to meet people who've done it. You're going to get real strategies, tangible takeaways, and you're going to start your plan to mapping your relocation journey, your travel plans, and your business establishment in one of the fastest growing, safest countries in Africa, Tanzania. All right. I want to see you there. I can't wait to see you there. And this is going to be huge for you. All right. So go ahead and comment Tanzania. If you're here, we're going to end the live shortly. I'm going to take some questions. If you have questions, go ahead and type your questions in the chat. Don't just dream about the freedom that awaits you. Create it. You are responsible. You're responsible for your freedom. Don't just dream about it. Don't just think about it happening in a few years, making a plan for 5 years. Create it. You have the power to do so. All right. Wonderful. So if you have any questions, go ahead, comment your question in the chat. I'm going to hang out here with y'all for another few minutes. Otherwise, I will see you online this weekend at the Travel, Move, Do Business Tanzania Online Conference. All right. So I don't see any questions. Marcel says that is so beautiful. Heal. Yes, we need to heal. And healing is beautiful. Okay. I'm so grateful I've entered on that journey in order to hold space for other people. Family is the real Holy Trinity. Exactly. Have I traced my DNA? No, I have not. But I know it leads back to Africa. I know that for a fact. Hassan says it feels natural in Kenya as well until people start speaking Swahili. Yeah, well, the original creators, we are. I think there was a question about acquiring land. So yes, overall, for people that have an interest in getting access to land in real estate, foreigners legally are not able to acquire land in Tanzania. That is the law. However, if you go to Tanzania, you see tons of foreigners owning land. How are they doing that? Well, they're doing that strategically by working with attorneys that know the law and how you get access to buying and owning land as a foreigner, right? So I am not an attorney and I am not a specialist in selling land in Tanzania. However, I know how to acquire land because I've invested in myself and in the process of owning land and understanding the process to do so. So yes, you can own land, but it is a very intentional strategic process that you have to do in a way that legally and strategically protects you and the community in which you're purchasing property for the long term, right? So we'll talk more about real estate, how to own real estate in Tanzania, because my attorney will tell you about it. So I don't get, so it's very clear and specific coming from the mouths of someone who understands the legalities and the regulation of land ownership in Tanzania. Can you rent farmland? Absolutely. And you can also own farmland, W. Bennett. You absolutely can, but I recommend you join us online for the Tanzania, the Travel Move Do Business Conference, because you're going to hear exactly how you can own land and rent farmland if you'd like to in Tanzania, where to do it, right? You'll hear from some speakers that own land in Tanzania. Some are American, some are Tanzanian, right? Where they graze cattle, where they plant and harvest herbs, natural herbal, plants, fruits, vegetables. You can absolutely do it as a foreigner, but you have to do it strategically and legally so that it is with integrity and within the legal system that Tanzania outlines. All right. Wonderful, guys. So this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on the live. If you're catching the replay, thank you so much for joining us. Join us this weekend. I can't wait to see you. Until the next video, I'll see you soon.